So I've not been active much lately, so there hasn't been really anything to put up, even as shorts. This video has no central focus, rather, this is just a mishmash of some of the things that I've been able to catch in the recent weeks. And I hope you guys enjoy this, so let's jump right in. I was out in Daytona Beach one day and wanted to see the golf course that everyone fames about all the time. As I got there, in came in FEC 101, a daily hotshot from Jacksonville to Miami. This train is a combination of intermodal off the CSX and the NS in Jacksonville. A majority of this train, however, is Norfolk Southern Train 209, which comes into Simpson Yard, crosses the CSX near Moncrief and over the St. Johns River into Bowden Yard. That being said, the northbound counterpart to this train is the northbound train 210, which arrives in the early morning. Next, I'm back home in Orlando one night, in time to catch Q456 heading from Sanford to Taft. The train is Q220 now and runs the S line, but due to a Fitzgerald sub-curfew, it was reprofiled back to Q456 to Waycross, as it should be, for a few weeks, although still running the S line. There's a lot of places in Orlando you can actually shoot trains at night. My favorites being the Meadow Woods Station, Kissimmee Station, Florida Hospital, and almost anywhere in downtown Orlando. Florida Hospital is probably the best with all the ambient LED lighting, and it's a shame we don't get more trains. But we make do with what we can find. All the talk lately is how the 3 Pride and service units are back on the rails. For a year and some, these 3 units were stored away in Waycross and only allowed for 1 or 2 special events. Among a myriad of railfan speculation, no official reason was ever known. So one day, Q441 had the 1776 and 3194, which meant that the next day, 0823 would have that. 1776 was the lead, and although I've caught 1776 leading before, it was at night on 604 and not a very good video. So I made a trip out to Tampa to get this. Veterans unit leading the juice train. 0823's power generally comes off Q441, and then after the return trip to Tampa, they double into Yeoman Yard and go out on Q442 that night. After catching this train, I raced up to Yeoman to watch them swinging over their cut into the yard. As I was chasing 0823 into Yeoman Yard, I had heard a job briefing of a K420 with the JF dispatcher. K420 is an empty ethanol train coming out of the port of Tampa, heading north. So, after I watched 823 double into Yeoman Yard, I decided to go to Plant City and chase this K420. By the grace of the railfan gods, this K420 had to stop at Market because a track inspector had the line. So, with that and an angering bout with I-4 and missing an exit, I still managed to get ahead of this train at the Plant City siding. Nice little surprise, and this was the Norfolk Southern SD70 Ace and the UP Givo. This train ended up having a 10-mile-an-hour slow order just north of where I was, so honestly, you see one tank on an ethanol train, you see the entire thing, truthfully. So I decided to cut it off and head somewhere else at this point. On another day, I find myself in Cannon Yard on the old Miami subdivision. It was Miami subdivision, then the Coleman side, the whole CSX deal here. I'm here to catch Amtrak 97, who just ran around the siding at Auburndale around 0738, and that'll be coming next. After 97 makes his turn south toward Miami, we swing over to the A-line side of the interlocking for 0738 to make his return trip to Winston. Now in Winter Haven, I'm waiting on the train of the day, and I come to see a clear signal. If you've been on my channel before, you'll know that I've caught the CSX 911 Pride in Service unit, and obviously earlier in this video I caught the 1776 leading as well. Now it's time for the third. Q453 is said to be running with the honoring our law enforcement and first responder units. 3194 has about the best Leslie 5 chime, and definitely must get. This is as PSR of a train as it gets. A DPU, auto racks, tanks, boxcars, rock, just about everything for South Florida kills on this train, and it makes this trip every day from Waycross to Miami. 911 was acting as the DPU on this train, and I believe there's some new rule now if your train's over 10,000 feet you have to have a DPU. I could be wrong on that though. 2 days later, I'm in Wildwood to chase the return of the 2 on Q452. I arrive in the yard to see the southbound Q453 making a drop here before continuing on south. I had wanted to shoot this train at Moreland Park, but Q453 was so big that the back end blocked that shot. So, I ended up at the north side of Oxford. This is actually between Oxford and Summerfield siding. In the distance you can see the intermediate that splits the two. I could hear Q453 down in Bushnell and was patiently waiting. I wasn't too happy about the last time I caught 911 leading at Dover, so I wanted to try again.
X, Detector, milepost 75.8, B33, no defect. Repeat, no defect. Total axle 788, link 1165. Detector out.
This train wasn't moving that fast, so with that being said, I made the decision to try to get this at least one more time. I had a shot in mind already that I wanted, so with the uncertainty of how 301 traffic can be, I decided to take the risk and go for it. I ended up in Ocala at the US 301 overpass, just south of the Singletary signals, to watch them go over and get a shot. I definitely would have liked to shoot this with a drone, but the wind was upwards of 30 miles an hour this day, and I was not going to chance it. And on 2 occasions with this train, I somehow mistaken myself for recording and not recording. So I missed the DPU because I thought I was recording, and I missed the end of the train because I thought I was recording, and I wasn't. So there's that. On the way back home, I end up in Taft on the Sunrail Corridor, where I look south and see an approach at the North Taft crossovers. That signal quickly upgraded to an advance approach. They were fleeting trains, as it's rush hour. Decided to sit and wait for a minute to see if the signal would upgrade further from the advance approach, and it did, to now an approach limited. This meant I had a southbound coming, and I probably had a northbound coming too. And then the signal upgrades to a clear, meaning track is clear and proceed at max authorized speed. that's about it for everything that I've caught as of recently. The only purpose trips were for these spirit units, and those were as good as it would get, really. The weather's been kind of weird here in Florida. I might try to go get them again if they come down, but hopefully the weather will be much better and I'll have some sun. But until next time, I appreciate you guys for watching, and if you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe if you liked what you saw. I'll try to get you guys something else new here soon, and we'll see you next time.